the Mindful Edgeverse.
Who were you born as? Were you born beyond the finish line or lagging behind other kids? If, like me, you don't have the good fortune of being a golden spoon, do you think we can change the game? In this podcast, let me tell you my own journey of being a game changer in my family. How about sitting back, having a sip of tea, and drifting around with me? Like in most other families in my neighborhood, my parents were not given a proper education. My dad quit school as soon as he finished primary school. My mom had remained in school for a few more years before she quit too. My grandparents were not patient enough to see my parents move up a grade each year because all what they needed was someone who made ends meet. Despite financial hardships, my parents worked from dawn to dusk and were able to send me to an elementary school. I enjoyed in class, but really, I struggled at home as no one could help me with my homework. My primary school passed with me sowing a seed of knowing that a good education would take me far. Unfortunately, my secondary school time was stressful as I was a victim of bullying. Nowadays I still ask myself what kept me going instead of skipping classes or dropping out like many other kids at that time. Maybe because of the seed I had sown. Just before the high school entrance exam, I asked my mom for the first time, "Please hire me a tutor. I want to try for a spot in the city's high school for the gifted." She agreed to pay for that for 3 months, but I failed the exam. The seed did not rot though. It was still there, waiting to germinate. And it did germinate when I got into high school. I made ceaseless efforts to perform well. But when I looked around, the majority of my fellow students originated from a family with a strong educational background. So I decided I would be the first in my family to continue on to university. That way, the sprouted seed nourished into an established plant. You may think my early years was all about school. In my memory, I started to help my mom with the morning food stall when I was 8 and continued so until I was 17, when my dad passed away and my mom's business was closed. My dad's passing hit me so hard that there were so many times I thought I would quit school, but at the end of the day, I conquered, and there was not a single time that thought took control. At 18, I left my province for university in Hanoi. It didn't take much time for me to convince myself I would live and work not just for me, but also for my extended family, my relatives, my nephews and nieces, and my own children. I wanted to put education in the genes of my kids and plant the seed I had sown in myself in my nephews and nieces to make up for what my and their parents deserved but were not given. So I became a university lecturer, and the seed I sowed back in my childhood days has now grown into a tree that will continue to weather the test of time. Alright, did you snooze through my story? Yes or no? I thank you if you hear these final words. Remember, who you are born as and who you are born to be are not the same thing. It's just a matter of choice. Either you choose to be a follower, or you will rise to the challenge, break free, and change the game.